We begin this hour with a nation in crisis. President Trump and an unelected reactionary billionaire are working overtime to dismantle key parts of our government. And they're waging war against progress and any shred of accountability for themselves or their allies. So what is one of the key leaders of the opposition party saying during these unprecedented times? Well, that's a good question. How is he planning to lead or to inspire the resistance against what is starting to look like authoritarianism?
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? Republicans have repeatedly lectured America. They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
What a message, no, from House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. The idea that Democrats would concede defeat less than a month into Trump's presidency is not just disheartening, it's also alarming. Republicans currently have just a 3-vote edge over Democrats in the House. That's one of the smallest majorities in U.S. history. Let's go back to 2010, when Republicans were the ones in the minority. Remember, they weaponized backlash against the Affordable Care Act and embraced the Tea Party movement, ultimately leading the party to pick up 63 seats in the House in the midterms. It was so bad that then President Obama famously said Democrats took a shellacking. 4 years later, Senate Republicans successfully campaigned against Obama, allowing the GOP to take full control of Congress. And let's not forget what the Democratic Party accomplished in 2018 after Trump's first presidential victory. House Democrats campaigned on the backlash to Trump's first term and his efforts to repeal the Affordable Care Act. They won back the House with the highest voter turnout we'd seen in the midterm election since 1914. Now, Jeffries' comments that Democrats have no leverage aren't just absurd. They also show Democrats are still out of touch with what voters want. Because according to a new CBS News YouGov poll, 65% of Democratic voters want the party to oppose Trump as much as possible. That's compared to 35% who want to work with him. The second figure is down from last month, when 54% of Democratic voters said they wanted the party to find common ground with Trump. And yet, Axios reports House Democrats are, quote, pissed at liberal grassroots organizations like MoveOn and Indivisible that are trying to stir up more confrontational opposition to Trump. One Democrat said the House Minority Leader is very frustrated at the groups, reporting that Jeffries himself has dismissed. Isn't the Democratic Party supposed to be right now in the midst of a reckoning, trying to figure out what happened after the election results, trying to listen to what voters actually want? And aren't Democrats the ones who campaigned on this idea of defeating Trump in the name of saving democracy? That was the message. If they want to have any shot at getting back into power, they need to listen to their base, to the field. They're asking for a fight, not a surrender. Let's bring in my panel. Joining me now is Greysa Martinez Rosas, Executive Director for the nonprofit group United We Dream, Hayes Brown, writer and editor for MSNBC Daily, and Chuck Rocha, founder of Solidarity Strategies and a Democratic strategist. Greysa, I'm going to start with you because you wrote this week an op-ed for the New York Times. And the op-ed is titled, "Why Democrats Fail the Immigration Test Every Time." You write about how Democrats need to fight back against the right's anti-immigration push, saying, and I'm quoting you, Democrats don't need to overcomplicate this. They just need to throw a punch. So, Greysa, what is your reaction when you see Jeffries making statements like this? Or, for example, when you see some Democrats that voted with Republicans in favor of the Laken-Riley Act, which, of course, targets immigrants. What's your reaction to that?
No, Paula, everyday people have a reason to be concerned. Every day it feels like something is on fire, that our families are less safe, while the richest man in the world holds a press conference in the Oval Office enacting a plan that is robbing us of our future and our money. So the American people, we're demanding leadership of each other, of our elected officials, of our media, and Democrats have an opportunity in this moment to expose the con and flip the frame. This isn't about a border crisis. This is a labor crisis. The real villains are not immigrants. They're the politicians and the corporations who profit from our instability. So when Move On members, Indivisible members, United We Dream members were making calls to our members of Congress, we're asking for partners. In the last couple of weeks, thousands of young high school kids and college kids have gone to the streets demanding a different America. Thousands of millions of Americans have been calling their members of Congress to take action in this moment. And so people have a right to be angry and scared, and we also have a right to ask for more from our elected officials.
Hayes, as Grace mentions, some of these groups like Indivisible and Move On actually just want partners. No, that's what she said. What is your take on this sort of complaining, allegedly, that some congressional Democrats are feeling right now?
I mean, I think that they need to realize that the people who are calling their offices are on their side. They're saying, we are also Democrats. We want you to do more. I get the sort of defensiveness of being like, hey, we're doing the best we can. The institutions are what they are. We don't have a majority, so we are sort of locked out of pushing the gears of power forward. But I think that Democrats are not used to being a true opposition party. They're not used to being the ones who stand astride progress and say no. They're not used to being the ones who say, actually, no, we're not going to try to negotiate with you because there is no common ground to be found with you. And I get why the instinct is to go back to that well, to say, okay, we got to pull off someone. Like with a 3-vote majority, the Republicans cannot stand to lose very many people on any given vote in the House. Jeffries, I think, needs to exploit that more. He needs to lean into the fact that, hey, if you guys lose 3 votes, whether that's moderates or because we are poking conservatives to tell them to, like, hey, go further on this one really weird thing that you guys are obsessed with to tank the whole bill, lean on that. If you are saying that, if you believe that Democrats out in the field, the Democrats, the base wants a fight, give them that fight, give them that red meat to keep them encouraged enough to get to the midterms, because I think that's what a lot of congressional Democrats are waiting for is, oh, midterms are going to come and we'll be fine then, not if you yield ground now that you'll have to make up later.
I think, Chuck, one of the things that everyone can agree on, and I know you've talked extensively about this, is the fact that many Democrats have acknowledged that they have and had during the election a messaging problem. But I want you to take a listen at how Jeffries addressed the issue during a recent podcast interview with Jon Stewart. Take a listen.
I think there's a few things going on here. Yeah. In terms of how we better communicate with the American people, Maya Angelou said it best. People won't remember what you say. They may not even remember what you do, but they will always remember how you make them feel. And I think what we have to do a better job of is making the American people feel that we understand the pain that they've been in economically.
Chuck, your response to that?
Well, I think it's good to root this in some facts where folks around Washington, D.C. are walking around like they think Donald Trump won 70 or 80% of the election. There was a problem with our messaging, but we first got to root this in making sure everybody understands that Donald Trump did not get 70 or 80% of the electorate. He got less than a majority of all the votes cast. He got 49.9%. That means a majority of Americans voted for somebody else. 48.7% of those voted for the Vice President Harris. And guess the reason why we lost? The reason why we lost is over 10 million, up to 19 million Democrats stayed home. Paola, to your point about the messaging, it wasn't because folks were running to Donald Trump. And yes, about 1.5 million more Republicans voted than 4 years ago, while almost 19 million less Democrats did. That means you had a problem motivating your base to show up to vote for you, to give them something to vote for, which is your message, but also in your earlier part talking about the fight, showing them what they're fighting against. To win an election, you have to show who is fighting to hurt you and then what your plan is to make their lives better. Democrats can fight with every fiber of their being while laying out a vision that's centered around work and the honor of work and families to make a pathway forward. I've been doing this my whole life. We've been doing this with lots of my friends who are on this panel, and there's a way to do this. We just have to get out of each other's way, Democrat.
Okay, so we talked about Jeffries, but Greta, compare what Jeffries has said to what Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has said. Take a listen.
We should be very clear with the American people that the House is governed by a Republican majority The Senate is governed by a Republican majority, and the White House has a Republican president. And if they want to pass their agenda, Republicans need to conjure up the votes for them to pass their own bills.
So, Greta, essentially here, AOC is saying the complete opposite, no, essentially arguing, actually, hold up, no, Democrats have plenty of leverage.
Yeah, they have more power than any one of us on this panel. We elected them exactly for that job. And so the real victory of this moment isn't just about surviving another fight or surviving another floor vote or floor speeches. It's about changing the conditions so that we never have to fight like this again. And that requires a fight. It requires a vision, and it requires to follow the energy that we're seeing all across the country. People are ready to call the BS out. They're ready to be able to put people into account. And I think we should follow their energy.
Hayes, let's talk about New York City, right? Because New York offers suddenly this vital test where you have a mayor that is openly siding with Trump, that is openly defying New York City sanctuary laws. After, of course, the DOJ is ordering prosecutors to drop his criminal case. In a scenario like the one that we're in right now, how should Democrats respond, given that the governor has the authority to fire Mayor Adams? And so I guess when you take a step back, like, what is the right response if you're a Democrat right now?
I think the right response if you're a Democrat is honestly the most cutthroat political one you can do. You look at Eric Adams' poll numbers in New York City. You look at the fact that he's talking to Republicans, according to New York Times, about the idea of potentially running either as a Republican or as both a Republican and Democrat in the fall. He's looking for a way to get around the fact that Democrats in New York City might not vote for him in the upcoming primary. I think you cut him loose. I think that there is little to gain from keeping Eric Adams on board right now when you have people who came out to support him in terms of fighting crime or because people are upset about how immigration has been run in New York City. But I feel like a lot of those people will also look at how he is capitulating to the Donald Trump regime and getting out of his own legal troubles by throwing other people under the bus. That's not something a leader does. And I don't know what Hochul stands to gain from backing him. There's no love lost usually between the governor and mayor of New York City anyway, no matter who it is. So for Hochul to sit there and take body blows for Eric Adams, absolutely not. Does not make sense to me.